This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. It is the weekend WTF market update. What's going on here? Here is the telling comment of the day, possibly the best comment of the year from G. 3 cycles of pumps and dumps has turned crypto into a toxic asset. You know what? I don't blame you. The pain that is being created, like I can think of 2 base coins, DGen and Aero, right? Now it's almost happening to Solana. We'll go through that chart in a minute, so don't go anywhere. Crypto is falling 2 reasons. 1, whales dumping. That could include VCs. 2, there may be some issues in TradFi. Crypto has always been the canary in the coal mine. And if there's something out there where equity's top and or the dollar stays up, crypto is now suffering. So if you can't listen to the rest of the stream, right, I can give you a hint as to what I told my people in Patreon as I coach them. So it's probably a good time to know that the show is brought to you by my Patreon. You can check the link down below. It's in the comments. There's the QR code on the screen with the flashing arrow. For the cost of 1 stay at Starbucks, you can get coaching and charts that, you know, more sophisticated stuff than what you see here. And actually, we appreciate everyone who's here and all those Patreon members. Now, here's what I've been telling my Patreon members for a couple of days. Don't get destroyed. Don't. In other words, if you're in an altcoin and you don't think, or you're concerned, or you would be concerned or panic if it went down 50%, then you need to make some adjustments in your portfolio. What are adjustments? Well, moving to cash, hiding in Bitcoin, you know, ETH, strong like bull, right? I have a feeling the whole world is allocating from Nvidia to ETH, from other altcoins to ETH. Nothing outperforms forever, but that's the executive summary. Get the good stuff, not to mention, you know, there's that event in November, which is becoming harder and harder to not talk about. Believe it, we're talking about it in Patreon. Okay, so let's welcome who's here. Steve Mesa in the house. Welcome. Duilo, is this a stop fishing exercise? Yes, it is. Right. And how long can they do this? At least today. I want to see this end quickly. Like, they got to do what they have to do. Fish for stops. Then I want to see support hold, and I want to see people willing to pay higher prices immediately after that. Or it's get to the chopper, right? Still not panicking in big cryptos. Don't see any point in panicking at Solana at 130. What's the point? There's no point, right? Don't panic in big cryptos. It's other stuff that, you know, you need to be a little bit more careful of. Okay, FD White is here. Market update. Aiken with love for Notorious and the Eagle King. Patriot Caveman in the house. The Fuzz Crypto. David. DC Precise. Welcome. Crypto Crazy. ARM 303. Cardano Anna. Welcome. Crypto Crazy. We need some volume in the market. Okay. Bob Marsh noting that there's major support in a major meme coin token, which could get listed on a major US exchange, which just made a donation to a major person and their efforts for the event that occurs after October. Love all this code, right? Okay, news. Let's go. We're going to be doing mostly news and live TA. Okay, just a reminder, this is technical analysis for informative purposes only. This is not investment advice because somebody just got hurt in Hong Kong for investment advice in a paid Telegram group. That's why we focus on technical analysis. Okay, let's talk about technical analysis. Let's talk about Solana. Okay, so this is LuxAlgo, right? There's a LuxAlgo link in the description. There's like career-changing stuff for me. So this pink area, Solana broke resistance, could get back above it. That's warning number one. Okay, there is a buy signal down here in Solana, but money is pouring out of the coin. Money flow is negative. So support is at 130, but you know, I don't know if I'm like, oh yeah, let's get it at 130 because money's flown out. Now there is some puking going on, but you know, if 130 gives out, you're going to have a DCA opportunity at 110. Now, if you look at a more tactical picture, okay, so this is a Solana on a 4-hour chart, right? Because I don't know, when it comes to altcoins, it kind of is all about Solana, right? Like ETH is holding because of the ETF. You know, Bitcoin hedge funds are super shorted because they can't be short anything else in equities anyway. 126 is a big level in Solana, right? So if they run the stops, if they run the stops, it's 126. Okay, you know, one of our readers, you know, got hurt in one of these small altcoins. You know, my heart goes out to you, right? My heart goes out to you because what's going on in some of these altcoins. So let's just get right over to that. You know, because I know I can tell people that like, hey, don't get hurt, or hey, you know, if you don't think it can go down, it can. It can. And it's just so not funny, right? So look at this, right? This is the base. This is the Uniswap of base. Straight up, straight down, right? It's called Arrow. Talked about it before on the show. Now, what Arrow is doing is providing you with a lesson, sadly, in what happens when, you know, big players panic, right? You just broke support at 69 cents. The next support is at 35 cents. That's on a daily chart. If you look at this at a tactical level, the good news in Arrow is that, you know, there's big support at 66 cents, right? And nobody ever would have thought that it would have come down to this, where it goes down only. And if this happens in Arrow, right? So it's down only, breaking support, clear, massive give up trade, because there are buy signals down here and they're not working. And if it can happen in Arrow, one of my question is, can it happen in WIF? Can it happen there? Pancakes and Peanut Butter says, soul bags hurting. Right? This slow bleed is disconcerting. Let's go look at the dollar before we go to news. Okay. So the good news about DXY is that it is at resistance at 104 and something. Okay. But the thing that's starting to bother me about the dollar, like in a major way, is look at these yellow lines, right? So crypto has the pink lines, which are the resistance. And again, you know, strongly recommend checking out LuxAlgo in the link down below. I mean, because this is like changing everything for me. Like if this is support in the dollar and the dollar starts moving away, like let's just say the dollar index goes to 106. Let's just use that as like the mother of all levels. Okay. If the dollar went to 106 and held there, you could be talking about 108. And there are reasons which we'll go through in the news why, the yen could have problems and why the euro could have problems like now. So that would be like the French elections and this bank in Japan that says, hey, we got to sell $63 billion in treasuries. You know what I'm saying? So the greatest thing that can happen for crypto is a big fat dollar failure, right? That would be just like, yes, we're in the clear. That's how Solana 130 would hold, right? In other words, you just get people go, you know what? Yeah, I don't think I'm buying the dollar at 106. But if people are interested in the dollar at 106, we have to be real. We do. Like, we're cheering for Bitcoin to hold. At this point, we are all cheerleaders, and hope is a tactic, even though in the army, hope is not a tactic. Hope is now a tactic in crypto. And frankly, it's also a tactic in equities because, I find this just stark raving unbelievable that S&P led by Nvidia can keep this up. There's resistance up here. There's a sell signal here. There's two sell signals down here. I mean, if they can't, it's just unbelievable how they can hold it up like this. And part of me is wondering, like, with Nvidia trading like this, so this is like Nvidia on a daily chart. So, the LuxAlgo, like the momentum trading system is starting to get short now. But there were so many topping signals in Nvidia that were going on like in this entire range up. Like, how overextended can this thing get before somebody goes, no, right? I mean, it hit both like take profit targets from this like long it entered down here. And, if you look at the weekly chart and this like kind of Bollinger Band-ish structure that it has, these bands, I mean, the overshoot here was unbelievable. The excessive money flow into this, right? Like, look at this green box down here. I mean, that's like absolute retail FOMO, and that's with Stan Druckenmiller selling. Stan Druckenmiller is a hedge fund manager who's never had a down year ever and believes in just being a complete pig and riding trends, just like, I'm not selling. Have fun. But he sold Nvidia here before the split. Retail FOMO's in, and now you have to start asking yourself, okay, what happens if this thing corrects sharply and there's a macro event? Like, why are altcoins down? This could be it. I'm glad. I hope it's not a problem with Tether, but I don't know, man. This just seems ridiculous. So let's go back into the news. Okay. All right. Willie Woo thinks the market is down because weak miners are selling. Okay. It's taking a lot of time for miners to capitulate. Okay. So according to Willie, a lot of miners have to sort of go down. Ordinal inscriptions, runes, and like are probably holding up miners, but crypto miners are selling, according to Willie Woo, that and Bitcoin whales. All right. Now, a certain politician wants to get rid of income taxes and replace it with tariffs. That has actually worked in the past. Okay. The meme coin of that particular individual is at a very interesting point. See my Twitter for more. Bitcoin ETFs now have 900 million in net outflows this week. So as a reminder, Bitcoin ETFs are held by retail investors. So if they take enough heat, they will puke it. Just being honest. That would make something like, I don't know, 61K possible. And probably the lower it went, the more people would sell, et cetera, et cetera. 6 months of sideways, just as a reminder, Bitcoin doesn't do anything in the summer. So the best case scenario is that it's like sideways And as my partner says, it's weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Meaning you get these things where you're like, today you're like, Solana at 130. It's like the thumbnail. It's like Bitcoin's like trying to hold it up. Right. Or it's just like 6 months of going sideways and everybody's trying to assign all kinds of meaning to price action that's just meandering. You do have problems. Equities are absurd. There are problems in fiat and people are just selling, right? In other words, Aero and Degen are examples of whales or VCs that just unloaded. Just unloaded. You don't want to be in a position where, you wake up and you have a 50% decline, because it's happened twice in coins that have long-term value propositions. So this is not like, oh, I own Solana, let's freak out. Oh, I own ETH, let's freak out. But this idea about portfolio adjustments, please make them sooner rather than later. Okay, so the Gemini exchange just donated some money, and somebody else donated $50 million to people who are pro-crypto. I think you have to start asking yourself a very important question. If this individual has got his regular voters and crypto voters, it could essentially be over. And when you get to the debates, that could be it, right? Again, my friend, my colleague said after the debate, there probably won't be any debate left. And he's got the crypto vote. Now that's good, obviously. But it's not good if crypto implodes after he gets on TV and talks about how much he likes it. Just saying. Again, I don't think there's any point in freaking out in big coins, even if they can go lower. They go lower, Big Rich in my Patreon group is just going to keep pounding the table that you got to buy the big coins as it goes down. Thing is, you got to have capital and you got to make sure you don't lose too much money in small coins. Okay, so insane amount of Bitcoin shorters are hoping it won't go above 70K. All right, so there's a Bitcoin chart and exchange futures open interest. You have massive positions in Bitcoin. And of course, that's going to make sense because you're going to have some hedging of big Bitcoin ETF positions. Okay, but short sellers are out there. That's great. Okay, we're going to love you guys when it takes out 70. Okay, if that's August or October, we're going to love you guys. So go out, get super short, collect your 10K move, and then when it's time to blow you out, we will blow you out. Okay, we're not there yet, but when people discover why they need Bitcoin, or people discover that, hey, this decline today is BS, right? It's like short sellers will create a spectacular rally. Apple's AI rally puts valuation at risk of outpacing reality. So they're not operating in reality in stocks, and they're not operating in reality at crypto either. Everyone's like, oh yeah, I don't have to do anything with stocks. I'm fine. I don't need crypto. I have stocks. When you hear that, it's time to crypto, you gotta get your hands up. You gotta be like, okay, why am I here? It's always an important question. Why am I here? I'm here because I want some different form of money. I want different forms of tech. I don't want these people telling me what to do. Right. So even if you got to people are taking some pain, right? You're long Solana and you're looking at that thing pressing on 130 after it couldn't get above 140 for squat. It's disconcerting. It's like a flash wick going someplace to happen. And I'm starting to wonder about July 4th already. They love doing big moves over U.S. holidays. I realize that's some distance off, but I'm just like, we need a bid. Why am I here keeps you in the game, because time in the market long-term will matter. You don't want to be like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. I'm losing it. I'm selling everything at the low. I really, really don't want that to happen. Okay. what Nvidia's impressive run means for market breadth. Yeah, I mean, like the whole stock market is going down. It's 5 stocks holding up the whole thing. How can that continue? Yeah, maybe. Okay, but altcoins are telling you that there's a problem out there in TradFi. And as I said on Twitter, you know, our problem is not our problem. Our problem is their problem. More convinced about that every day. People are like, yeah, you know, crypto, this is the 3rd time I've gotten wrecked. I get it. I get it. But this one's not our problem. Like, you know, the across the board VC liquidity pump and dump of 2021, I don't think that's the case here, right? I think all coins are telling you that there's some kind of problem that may not have anything to do with crypto, other than the fact that speculative assets don't do well if there's a problem. Now, in terms of whales and VC dumping, again, in small coins, you know, you have to be careful. You do, right? Okay. So just as a reminder, huge options expiration today in equities. So if there's going to be a bid in equities, it should return Monday. The bid doesn't return, then you know, like maybe there's a little bit of a reality check coming there. Also, as a reminder, French elections are coming up. It's not inspiring confidence in the euro or in the EU in general, because people, you know, you could have Frexit, like Brexit, like there's this like looming idea that, you know, hey, you know, we don't like this arrangement anymore. And that's why the dollar is bid. Because I mean, if there's anything in crypto that's so hard to stomach other than the downward price action, it's this like ridiculous bid in the dollar, especially since our economy and our economic data is about to fall out of bed. It's really tough to look at. And hopefully it's not an issue. Hopefully it's like, okay, yeah, it's like we do this all the time on the show, right? Here's a headline, here's a headline, here's a headline. Bitcoin's down 3%. And then everybody looks at each other in a couple of days and goes, what was the problem? Now, it's getting harder and harder to ignore what's going on in legacy, but you get the idea. This Zero Hedge headline says it perfectly, even though I can't get the article. An unnerving feeling of something not being entirely healthy beneath the surface. Okay. Our problem is not our problem. Our problem is their problem. Right? Because I don't think this Tether FUD stuck. Now, Standard Chartered, a big bank, is starting a crypto OTC desk. I'm telling you, cryptocurrency attached to fiat currency as a trading unit is going to go back to the glory days of foreign exchange in the 90s, which is a market that I personally came up in. Okay, it is going to be absolutely unbelievable. In other words, think about this. If you have Bitcoin at 120K in March, what creates that and how much trading volume is going to be involved with that? Okay, Daniel J said, you know, market cap going to trillions. Steve J looking at DeFi Perp. Okay, let me just do that right now. Bob Marsh wants to look at Sol. Okay, Chanel is like, get to the chopper. I'm getting that get to the chopper kind of feeling. Okay. So Squatch put in a super chat for FALX on Solana. Okay. So what I tell people about these meme coins is that, you know, what they do is they go way up, and then the project, I think, you know, has to actually sell the token to add liquidity. So they all go up and they all go back down again. The 62% retracement of here is 1406. Okay. And it's got to get back above that in order to be good. Now, if a lot of these meme coins have gotten destroyed and they can actually hold together and Solana holds 130, then you've got some hope there. Now, again, I can't believe, well, I can, because I forget things sometimes. Okay. I want to look at Arbitrum. There are token unlocks here. Okay, that there are a couple of coins that have got token unlocks. Okay, Arbitrum is one of them. However, this is a layer 2. So this is very common throughout basically all of crypto. Let me just look at the 4-hour chart here. So a couple notes, right? Arbitrum is now just right below resistance at 80 cents at a tactical level. Okay, I don't think we want to see Arbitrum go too far below 80 cents. We definitely don't want to see it go below 75 cents. Okay, 74 cents is support below the market. There are buy signals here. Again, there are technical reasons for crypto to hold. Just need them to actually hold. Okay, pancakes and peanut butter are like, hey, if the French go on their own, I don't know how they survive. I get it. Hopefully it's a non-event headline for the moment. Okay. Okay. So again, crypto, California judge on Kraken. When are they just going to stop? Right? When are they going to stop? I mean, this guy from Ripple is in trouble now. No wonder he didn't mention XRP at consensus, right? Charges take issue with the CEO saying he was very, very long on XRP. Okay, plaintiffs allege he sold millions worth of XRP the same year. If you're in a project, you're going to hold it and go down with the ship. Okay. Is the meme coin super cycle over? I'll tell you this. If Solana cracks 130, you're going to have major wick downs in big memes. I don't want to get too hysterical because, again, the most loathsome creature on the planet is the late stage bear. But if you go over here, and Steve, I haven't forgotten about DeFi Perp, right? If you go over here and you start looking at WIF, right? So, WIF has a big inflection point, around 191, and it's got support at $1.60. Okay. So, WIF's got to get back above 225, but you can see, and this is common across crypto. This LuxAlgo indicator is picking up on the fact that everybody who's bought WIF up here is now underwater. All these people who bought WIF, they're underwater now. Okay. Now there could be a major exchange listing, all kinds of stuff could happen. Point is, if this thing can't rally, if no one wants to pay 225 for WIF or 260, the downside targets are 1.6 and 0.67. Now you're like, well, that's ridiculous. That can't possibly ever happen. Good. I'm glad, because I don't want it to happen. I want everybody to look at this price action and go, oh yeah, Solana at 130. I'm taking it there. Let's do it that way. Let's do it that way. So yeah, Solana on a daily chart is pinned underneath resistance, but it's also got support right here at 129. And if you go to a tactical chart, there's support at 126. And if you go to the tactical chart, if you go to the 4-hour, you can see that people are buying dips. The thing that bothers me about Solana a little bit is that the money flow is not good, right? In other words, everyone's like, oh yeah, 129, I'll take some Solana there. But it's like, okay, when it gets back to 136, are you still going to want it? Well, not crazy about money flow in this particular area. Okay. Jazz Gill noting that Turbo is a meme coin made with AI that is actually holding. Okay. Okay. Chris is talking about Nike on Cardano, a pig coin that has been moving. Steve is saying, not touching this. All right. Okay. So let's go to DeFi. The thing about DeFi that's just always so interesting now is that, I saw BlackRock interested in Chainlink. I saw that as a suggested video title. DeFi, LuxAlgo is long from way below. It's long from 770. So it effectively bought the first uptick. And I think ETH and DeFi is holding up the whole market. It really is, right? So, I mean, DeFi is headed for resistance. You have bullish divergence down here, you know, and like I said, it's like everything else. People got to be willing to pay higher prices, but the SEC is going away. And, you know, BlackRock is eventually going to be pouring in here. You know, let's just look at Chainlink. Again, if you like this new news live TA hybrid, feel free to let us know. I mean, Chainlink has support at 1360, right? So Chainlink is kind of an example of like, hey, you know, if BlackRock and Chainlink has been kind of in buy mode on LuxAlgo for a while, and money flow is still positive and hasn't gone negative. So obviously we want to see money flow expand, but you know, Chainlink, DeFi, all this other stuff. Okay. That said, like I've been telling you, you know, there is support in crypto. It's not like, oh my God, there's nobody home. There's support, right? But someone's got to be willing to come in and pay $14.80 for Chainlink, right? In other words, it's great to pay 13 something, but someone's got to be willing to come in and pay 14 and 15. Okay. Okay, Steve is saying that there's a lot of stuff on 12-hour charts. There's a lot of bullish divergences. So there is bullish divergence in Chainlink. Okay, if we turn around and take it and go to Ethereum, right, or even ETH BTC, right, there's a lot of support underneath ETH BTC. So there's some serious evidence that, you know, people want Ethereum. And the greatest thing that could happen in the whole world, honestly, is that ETH catches a bid. Like that's what yesterday's stream was all about. So ETH has got a lot of support underneath it on the 12-hour chart down there at 3,300. So, I mean, ETH, you know, it's exciting television where Ethereum has got support at 3,350 and resistance at 3,800. The excitement is breathtaking. Not really. But if ETH can hold itself together, then the rest of this market that just kind of frankly stinks, you know, I'm not seeing a big reason for ETH to go to 3,100. I know bearish people, like there's guys out there really hunting it, but, you know, Crypto M is noting that, you know, you got a head and shoulders pattern brewing in Chainlink. You know, BlackRock is out there, right? So I have heard this, that, you know, Chainlink at a big picture level, right? That you have this, and I keep coming back to this, right? So this exists. There's probably a lot of people trading it. Okay, I can't bring myself to get all bearish on ETH DeFi, because frankly, there's so many other things to pick on. But I will tell you this. If this is a head and shoulders top in Chainlink and Chainlink goes down, then everything is just going to give out, right? You're going to have a 40 to 50% wipeout if Chainlink goes down. You know, now this bearish divergence here where you had a big new high in Chainlink and a lower high in the oscillator, I get it. Right. This is not a perfect looking picture, which is why, you know, you want to see people turn around and be like, hey, you know, Steve J is noting money is pouring into Aave. I get it. Okay. Solana captures 60% of new DEX volume in May. In case you're worried that Solana is dead, it's not. Ethereum preps for primetime TV commercial. I hate TV commercials. Hate them. Right? FTX PTSD, right? You know what I'm saying? FTX Arena. Okay. The larger point is, though, if you have a debacle in equities in August or September, and they're launching that Ethereum ETF as an alternative to whatever is happening, again, with big coins, weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. Okay. In other words, they can take it down, but there's no point in getting bearish on big coins when they're already down. It's about protecting capital if there can be these like huge give up trades in other assets, right? That is the problem, right? And honestly, I don't know. Let's pull up XRP. Because one of the things that's always worried me about XRP, it's fast money. I've always said that, right? It has a value proposition as fast money, but, is there a scenario where people in XRP could give up? So LuxAlgo is constructive on the daily chart. And ironically, money has been flowing in. Money flow is actually pretty good. So, there's some hope here in XRP. It's not like, oh my God, but okay. Somebody's asking if I can take a look at BRETT. I've actually got my eye on that closely. Okay, so in BRETT on Gate.io, okay, it's kind of in a range, like in an event of a dislocation, support is at 11 cents. Okay, BRETT hit a take profit target at like 17 cents and has since come off. Okay, money flow is more than likely excessive here. So I don't know. This thing almost feels like it's made its move. That said, if you can get support at like 13 cents or 12 cents, there's a lot of signals here that would lead you to believe that this like puke will end. And if you can take out resistance at 15 cents, like I said, support below and everything's got to turn around and take it up. Aiken is like full moon volatility. Yes, there are multiple full moons like in a confined space coming up. That might be a point of concern for stocks or anything that's been outperforming. Okay, Ondo went down. I just want to cover this because I know a lot of people are long it. Okay, so Ondo doesn't have any negative structures, but support at $1.15 held. So people are probably in buying dips mode. And Ondo seems to trade okay, even though money flow is flowing out. Would really prefer to get super long when these things go green. If you're buying it when it's red, you could be buying someone else's bag who is looking to liquidate. Okay, who is looking to liquidate, and you just don't want to get caught. Okay, so Crypto Crazy is noting that Bitcoin was in a 20% range for almost a year, 200 business days prior to the start of the bull run. Right. In other words, this thing, it doesn't make for compelling television, but if you look at Bitcoin, right, this could have been just a stop hunt this morning. If you look at an 89-minute chart, right? I mean, it gets to a take profit level. This is an 89-minute chart of Bitcoin, right? So it goes to like 64 something or 63 something and bounces. No one wants to be short Bitcoin. I mean, the hedge funds do, but I don't know why any sane crypto person would want to be short Bitcoin. Okay. In other words, there are buy signals kind of everywhere in crypto, at least with these like momentum indicators. So Bitcoin is like trying to hold on. It is. So is Solana. So is ETH. I don't think that's the problem. The problem is if you have venture capitalists, I mean, look, this is an example of something that just like, this just like, killed me, right? Like PAAL was down at 17 cents. Now, the good news is PAAL came back and people were willing to pay higher prices for PAAL. But I mean, this, like, if you had said to me after consensus that this AI coin could go from 40 cents to 20 cents, this thing lost half of its value in 20 days. Now, is it going to lose half of its value again? Not according to these signals as of now. But can you have these exercises where, you know, people start getting pushed out aggressively? Okay, JTO, a Solana staking play. Okay for now on the 4-hour chart, right? And sitting on a major fib number, okay, with LuxAlgo buy signals. And it looks like money flow puking somewhat extreme. However, you know, like you get the bounce, this could be a setup for a stronger move back, particularly if Solana holds. I do not want to be bearish big coins after a drop like this. If anything, I want to be saying, all right, how can I free up capital to get more involved in stuff that I know is going to come back in August or thereafter? Okay. Aiken says, doesn't Bitcoin historically go into a sideways pattern for 6 months after a halving? Yes, it does. So let's go to Bitcoin and let's take a look at that. Okay, so this is going to be Bitcoin on, like, I don't know, let's try a 2-week chart just to go outside the box. Okay, so, okay, this is not giving us exactly what we want, but there was a Bitcoin halving right here in 2020, right? And Bitcoin didn't really do anything for an extended period of time. And then 2021 was the venture capital pump. And of course, in Bitcoin, you'll notice that, you know, it's like, what's exactly happening in Bitcoin if you look at a long-term chart? Well, not much, right? There are some sell signals here, but it could be sell signals for this thing to just go into a range. Okay. And Steve is like, hey, I'll take everybody's Solana. I'll take everybody's Solana at 112. All right. So for the weekend, be careful about altcoin down moves in thin markets, right? There are warning shots being fired. Most likely, with the way this looks tactically, if there's no problem on Sunday night in Legacy, that could be a cause for a relief bounce in crypto. Bigger picture, not financial advice. There's no point in getting bearish large coins because, you know, they're probably closer to like a wick down bottom than they are to a top, meaning getting bearish Solana at 130 doesn't make any sense, even if there is no bid. But if Solana slips below 130, you have to think about damage elsewhere. And you have to preserve capital. There's a lot of things people were going to hodl in and they lost half their value. And you don't know where those things are. You don't know who is lurking out there in altcoins. So I'm not bearish, right? I'm not bearish. I mean, you know, equities feel terrible to me. And I don't like the dollar. And these are the things you're going to have to keep in mind, because if you're not looking at DXY and you're not looking at Nvidia, you are now. That's it for today. We'll see you on Monday.